Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a match between Astrea and Maru here on Eternal Empire for your Patreon cast for the week. Patreon.com/Falcon Paladin. I'm posting this 1 month before it goes up on the YouTube channel to people who subscribe to be there for at least $1 a month. And let's go ahead and get right into it here. We have the Korean Terror. It is Maru. He's blue, he is Terran, and in the top right, we have ourselves a Protoss player. He's red, and he is American. Now, I don't know that I've cast many Astrea games before on the channel, despite the fact that I have cast, boy, so many StarCraft 2 games out here. But he's an American, he's Protoss, and he might have actually become the best American StarCraft 2 player recently. Which sounds a little bonkers, right? To consider that this guy is now the best player, but I don't know. Neeb hasn't done a whole lot recently. Special's been good, but not incredible. Same thing with anybody else, like M. Canning, Future. I love all these guys, but Astrea's gone to higher heights than any of them. Yes, he's competing in GSL because he lives in Korea, which is something that the other players aren't living in Korea, right? Except for Special. So it's not really a fair comparison. Dude, this double NG Bay block out of Maru, I don't think I've seen a double NG Bay block ever on this channel. What is happening, man? Why are you being so mean to Astrea here? Man, 4 probes off the line to deal with that. Meanwhile, Cybercore coming up, and a Reaper on the way for Maru. So Reaper's name is Bob. The beloved builder fell on hard times after poor ratings on his show. For failing the Dominion's youngsters, Manx put him into a Reaper suit, which effectively canceled the program. All right, Bob the Builder, what can you do here against Astrea? You are in the hands of Maru, who, again, Maru is... he probably has the highest highs and the lowest lows of any professional in the top 20, top 10 of StarCraft, right? He can beat anyone, and he can lose to anyone. It's kind of insane. He's lost to Mio Micah before, and as Somicron likes to say, if you ask who the heck is Mio Micah, that's the entire joke right there. It's the entire point, is who's Mio Micah. So, moving across the map right now is a Reaper, not really planning on getting much done, but again, this is Maru controlling the Reaper, so if there's anybody in the world who can get kills, Maru's on that list. Probe coming out, I mean, yes, Stalker on the way, and an Adept, wow, so Adept is out, and a Stalker's coming in. The Adept does not stay home, usually they stay home to deal with the Reaper, but, ooh, Reaper hop-up is blocked, which gives time for the Stalker to pop out just in the gosh darn nick of time, and Probes get some serious damage done, and the Reaper does get picked off. Dang, Astrea, you boss. You just wrecked that Reaper. I know that Reapers don't get anything done in TVP anymore, but to have it die without really getting much scouting information. Okay, you got all the information it needed.
SCVs are under attack.
And this Adept, ooh, almost canceled that command center construction, or paused it. It wasn't a cancel, but it could have been a pause. And this Adept doing some good work here. Astrea kind of holding his own. I would say he might be even ahead at this stage of the game. He's got more workers because obviously he's got Chrono Boost. But mules are a thing that Maru has. He's going to have 2 orbital commands here in just a second. Starport on the way, a couple Marines in production, and so far just very standard opening out of Maru. I don't see anything to worry about if I'm Astrea right now. I don't see any indication anything's going to try to kill you in the next couple of minutes. Beyond that, I make no promises. Robo opening out of Astrea here, not going for that Stargate action. Going for Blink. All right, man, you're going to go for that Blink Stalker stuff that Parting has made kind of popular in this matchup. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work out for us or not. But it certainly could. I've seen it work for some Protoss players. I've seen it fail miserably for some Protoss players. Comes down to a question of skill and how good the Terran player is. So this Hellion by himself, I mean, he got a kill. Hang on, 3 kills. All right, 3 kills on the Hellion. Not bad. Not incredible, and also not bad either. A double Widowmine drop on the follow-up, which, again, if you're a Protoss player, you just expect the Widowmine drop. This is why we're going to get the Observer first. Ka-ching, Observer first out of the Robo. As predicted, third base coming up from Astrea, and a Probe just trying to make sure drops don't come around this way. What vision does he have down over here? Oh, Hallucinated Phoenix. Astrea paying attention to all the classic stuff. He does see the medevac. I think he caught a glimpse of that. The Stalkers are ready to go. The Observer is being Chrono Boost out, and the Stalkers are chasing. Wow, oh, there's already an Observer out. Okay, the second Observer is being chrono boost out. Holy smokes. All right, so shuts that down too. Astrea doing pretty well here. He did lose 3 probes to a single Hellion, which is a little bit embarrassing. But otherwise, he's doing okay. His 3rd Nexus is coming up. I know I said that, but I'm impressed with that timing. Bunch of barracks here. Looks like Maru's going for this bio play. A bio play with a couple tanks. A bunch of Marauders in the mix here as well. And then Vikings in case Colossus come out. And otherwise, just Liberators most likely. So right now, man, 48 to 48 workers. Astrea has a tiny bit of a lead right now. The spikes are when Maru is calling down mules into the blue territory. But where's your 3rd base, man? There it is. Okay, 3rd CC just about done inside the main. He's going to lift it off and land it here in just a minute. And Starport donates one of its add-ons to something. Wow, a lot of add-on switching here. All right, so are these tech labs? Wow, Marauder production? Yeah, man, Marauder production and getting stim. Probably won't move out until he has stim. So I think Astrea has a bit of a time here to macro up, work on getting additional gateways here, get up, there you go. Getting upgrades, getting charge for your zealots is always nice. And then just trying to, here we go. So here's the attempt. And just everything pulls out. 4 probes down is way more than I expected there. Medevac doesn't get out. And the Widow Mines die. So I don't know, man. What are we looking at there? That is 2 Widow Mines, a Medevac. 2 Widow Mines and a Medevac for 4 probes. Maybe the Observer got killed there and a Sentry. Auto turret Raven harass here out of Maru at the 3rd base. 2 more probes go down. So not bad. Maru is just kind of picking and eating away at the edges of Astrea here. We'll see if that works out for him in the long run or not. Additional barracks in production. Again, with the Marauders. Just heavy on the Marauders against Protoss. That's what you're going to want to be doing here. Really good against Stalkers. Pretty darn good against Zealots, too. And it is going to be Colossus, as Extended Thermal Lance is getting started. And there's your first Colossus in the production tab from Astrea. So, all right. We'll see how long it takes Maru to recognize that fact and start making Vikings. Or he could just be trying to win with tanks and Marauders. I mean, the whole Colossus versus Terran question has been around since early Wings of Liberty. Like, the early days of Wings of Liberty. I remember watching games way back then in 2010 and 2011 where effectively Terran's like, what do you do against Colossus? Number one, Colossus were a lot better back then. They were substantially better back then. And so dealing with it was a real problem. It's still a problem, but not as much. And there were, 2 schools of thought. One was go for a ton of Vikings, but then you're worried about the mass Stalkers shooting down your Vikings, because that's what it was a Stalker Colossus Deathball, which was good against Terran and Zerg back in the day. But I was more a fan of just getting a bunch of Marauders, stimming them forward, and volleying down the Colossus while taking hits from everything else. Because, I don't know, I just felt like Marauders at the end of the day were much better against the ground armies than the Vikings were. This was before Vikings got their bonus attack to mechanical units. Because now Vikings can land and do pretty well against Stalkers, man. Not bad at all against Stalkers. But back then, not as much the case. So anyway, at this point, it really just comes down to Liberators. It comes down to, Marauder focus firing, and we usually will get Vikings. Although at this point, no. So he sees the Colossus and says, I don't have any Vikings at all, but there's really not much else here. So the Colossus staying alive is a massive part of this. Look at them stimming forward, trying to take this down. Nice move back by the Colossus, and the force fields keep most of the army back there too. Beautiful, beautiful engagement there from Astrea. He's down in army supply big time here. But he manages to hold regardless. Zealot counterattack into the 3rd base. Taking down siege tanks that are fully sieged up. Going after SCVs, necessitating a full pull of SCVs from this location. Still continuing to just hack away at some of this bio. And 3 SCVs go down, a couple tanks die. And keeping that tank count low is always a good idea. If you are a Protoss player, no matter who you are, keeping the tank count low for your opponent is going to be a good thing. That Stalker was there for scouting, and, dies for the cause. Viking production has begun. From Maru, because why not? Pylon here from Astrea, more of a scouting pylon than anything else. Colossus engaging a little bit here, and he's like, hey, if your army's here, Maru says, I'm going to come up to your natural base. And you're going to go ahead and try to warp in some Zealots to deal with this, but that's a lot of bio, and the Zealots are just going to get eaten up eventually. Initially, very fast. Probes down, 9 probes down. Bad experience that way. Colossus show up. And Maru gets out of there without losing much of his army, if any at all. Coming up the left side, 4 medevacs and a bunch of bio. Maru is everywhere right now. He's everywhere. He's doing so much work. The Stalkers are desperately trying to hold here. He's trying to bring his army over, kind of split his army into 2 groups to handle both angles here. More probes are going down. I mean, I've said, and in fairness, I have said that Astrea has been holding on here because he has. But it's looking a little dicey. That's all I'm going to say. Is this natural base under attack again? It certainly is under attack again because you don't have any standing army in this location. Oh, but up this way, unloading as well. Dude, we're in a lot of trouble. We are in an immense amount of trouble for Astrea. 20 probes have been killed just in the last few minutes here. Enough that they're linked together in the game hard interface to show us that 22 have gone down. It's not been like 22 all at once, but it's been a problem. Look at Maru. He's like, hey, you chased me away. No, you didn't. I'm going to kill a couple of your stalkers and then stem away. Nope, kind of risking some of your medevacs there, good buddy. Stalker blinks forward. Can't quite catch those medevacs. So at this point, it's 65 to 68 workers. Income's pretty even. Is this we back? We're back, baby. We're back from outer space. Medevac down. Everybody running for it here. Alright, so Medevac's heading home. Colossus owning the middle of the map a little bit here. Production tab is really full for Maru. And not, I mean, 3 Archons for Astrea is good, but army supply 104 to 107 per even across the board. Do we have ghost production yet out of Maru? Is he doing more stuff? More Raven auto turret harass. This Raven has 13 kills. Astrea's like, all right, I'm tired of getting picked apart. Let's do this thing. We got Stalkers, we got Colossus, we have Archons. We have 3 Colossus. Have we lost any Colossus today? And the answer is shaboom. No Colossus have died. That is actually very impressive. They don't have many kills. Well, I guess that one has 9. Maru's 4th base is a little bit vulnerable here, but the army from Maru is coming in to help deal with this attack. Are there any Immortals with this composition at all? No. Maybe Astrea doesn't believe in Immortals. He is getting Disruptors, though, which can be pretty good against this composition, this bio composition. At the very least, it can zone the bio back so they're not stemming into your army. Ah, there are ghosts. Enhanced Shockwave, not quite yet. I'm not sure that Maru... I don't think he's forgotten about that upgrade, but it's really important to get here. If you're making ghosts, and he's still continuing to produce ghosts for that EMP, Enhanced Shockwave increases the radius of the EMP, hitting more units at a time, which, considering how clumped up Protoss is, hitting more units is going to be a good thing. The radius is not super great without that upgrade. Warp Prism speed getting researched. Maybe it's Observer speed. I can never tell which one it is based on the visual there. It's kind of stupid that way. Astrea has lost 10,000 resources. Maru has lost 7,000 himself. Wow, stimming into this. EMP is getting tossed down pretty effectively. Decent Disruptor hit there. And then a recall out. Disruptor dies. Colossus dies. Oh, no. And then half of his army's left stranded while everybody else got a free pass home. Crikey, mate. All right, so 5th base on the way from Astrea. 5th base coming up for Maru. 2 again in a safe location. Kill landed elsewhere. Turtle Empire is a really good map for macro games, dude. It's really fantastic. Disruptor manages to escape here. All right, well, here's your battle. Colossus getting sniped down. Stalker's trying to engage. Disruptor's trying to get hits off too. But this just might be too much. I don't know that Astrea can hold right now. Army supply is double. Well, not double. It's about 20 more for Maru than it is for Astrea here. He's pulling back as well as he can. But if you're pulling back, you're leaving yourself exposed to an attack into your natural base. Disruptor buying time for everybody to escape back to their new base. Production has more and more Disruptors. Maru doesn't feel like pushing the issue, which I kind of feel... I don't know about that. He has a pretty big army advantage. But again, a lot of Astrea's army did manage to recall out of there, so they were ready to rock pretty soon. So I might just be done with Colossus. The Viking count is high enough. Oh, there's only one left. Are you serious? 16 Vikings have died. Whoa. I did not expect that to be the number at all. This looks bad for Astrea. He's down 192 to 164 total supply. Hold up. He just forced a full liftoff. Maru did not know where Astrea's army was. He's going to lose this 5th command center. Zealots are buying a little bit of time. Bam, it does go down. I think it burned it down. Nova, decent split, another Nova. Great split, another Nova. Great split, but 3 ghosts go down. And another Nova. Just getting serious damage with these Novas, but the disruptors are so slow and lagging behind the rest of the army. Getting target fired. Force fields are up. Astrea is playing this pretty effectively. Nice EMPs all over everything, though. Still no enhanced shockwave. Is this basically Maru saying I don't need enhanced shockwave to get EMPs off against Astrea? It may be a style situation, but Astrea up 77 to 70 workers now. He did kill one of Maru's bases. He has a minor income advantage. This game is good. These guys are both taking serious punches right now. This is one of the better games I've seen from an American player in some time. Astrea's been around for a while. I wasn't really enamored with him before, but what he's doing here at DreamHack is awesome. What I expect from him in the future is going to be pretty awesome. He actually qualified for GSL, which is not easy to do. I think he made it to the group stage round 1, which is, again, hard to do, guys. There's a lot of good Korean players, a lot of good players who live in Korea. For Astrea to get there is not bad. This looks absolutely problematic for Astrea, though. We're dropping Marines Marauders in the natural base. He doesn't have anything in range to handle this at all. That Nexus is probably going down. 7 probes get killed at the same time. He's winning the engagement in the middle of the map here, sniping off medevacs and trying to kill ghosts. Just trying to kill anything that's getting chased away at the moment. Small Marauder group coming up to Astrea's 5th base, trying to snipe that down at the same time. And suddenly, oh boy, suddenly Astrea is in a massive amount of trouble. Big warp in. Pylon gets killed, canceling the warp in of friendly units there for Astrea. The 5th Nexus goes down. It's 176 to 127 supply. This has been a fantastic back and forth match. Recall home. Astrea was considering pushing on this 5th base. Couldn't quite do it. So many probes dying here today. I mean, that is an 82 probe death count. The fact that Astrea is at 59 probes right now is insane, considering he has lost 82 probes. Income hugely favoring Maru, both because of mules and because he has more bases than Astrea and many more workers. Okay, it's 10 more workers, but that's huge at this level of StarCraft. Astrea, again, undefended base. Maru, once again, not quite sure where Astrea's army is, or maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe he's like, I'm willing to base trade with you here. I'm willing to take one of your bases, you kill one of my bases, and I'll be fine. Yeah, and that's your GG. Maru does come out on top. Astrea recognizes he was losing his 2 newest sources of income, and it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. Astrea, though, looking good. I gotta say, for a game between Astrea and Maru, I think Astrea did very well for himself. He ended up killing a couple orbital commands, a command center, 7 ghosts went down. But just losing 3 Nexuses and 86 probes without doing the requisite damage on the other side of the map is just not going to work out in the end for Astrea. The big engagements really seem to come from in Maru's favor there, kind of back and forth. He's getting... God, I can't remember what this upgrade is called. It's like high fuel, tank, oxygen, permit. I never remember what it is because nobody ever gets it. That's Maru kind of styling a bit. And yeah, he did it all without enhanced shockwave, which again, I feel like was a stylistic choice. So great job by Maru getting the win there, but Astrea holding his own pretty effectively. He dealt with a lot of Maru's early harass pretty well, to the point where he was pretty even, but then it just came down to good splits, good Viking focusing of the Colossus, necessitating disruptor play, amazing splits against the disruptors from Maru, and then focusing down the disruptors when he could. And GG, that's it. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. More Maru I think we need on this channel, because when he's good, he's very, very good. And when he's bad, he's bad. But anyway, yeah, more Astrea too. I think Astrea has earned a lot of my respect here, and I think a bunch of other players and people in the StarCraft 2 scene as well. So that's going to be it for me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War, StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, and a Patreon cast. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. Almost at 50,000 subs. We might actually be there by the time you see this, everyone. Which would be kind of nuts. But yeah, until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.